Hey, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. Welcome to a long episode, giving you a view of my 164 workshop today, early Sunday morning. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing well. Working this 2022 Ty Gibbs Monster Energy number 54. I kind of have some stuff over here on the side showing. Been showing a few videos, short videos lately, trying to appease some people that might just want a quick video that shows exactly a particular part of the process working these customs. And what I'm doing here is a longer video, and like I've normally done. So I'm gonna mix it up and do a different playlist with some shorts. And yeah, so welcome into a longer one. And I'm just cutting out these little decals, which I'm going to say is a labor of love. It's kind of a slow, arduous process if you want to do it right. If you don't want to, cut into a decal or, nick something you don't want nicked. So you kind of have to just take your time doing that. So I cut out the passenger side or the right side, and now I'm kind of cutting out the left side while that's sitting in the water. And what I like to do here, normally I'll split this up, but I'm going to kind of keep it together here. I've got a lot of space on this back quarter panel for this interstate batteries and where the Monster Energy is. So I'm just going to leave that together there. But I am going to move this, take out this fuel door, as I do want to place that where I need to, in case it ends up a little bit too high. It should be fine actually, but I'm just going to move it out. I normally do that. That way I can, again, just put it exactly where I want to, make sure it's positioned properly and not tied to these other decals here. So yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, but yeah, I've had to travel, and I've been really, I keep saying this, I've been really busy at work, but I had to travel, and I can't really tell you guys when I travel, before I travel. So I was out for a week, and now I'm back. But unfortunately, production stops when I'm away. I have traveled before and taken some of my work with me, and kind of worked in the hotel room in the evenings and stuff, but I have to take a lot of stuff with me and for work, and I don't really always have the time to do that or the energy. So I didn't this past time. But regardless, I am back home. So on these side decals, where there's a kind of a curved surface a little bit, it kind of comes up and wraps over a little bit, I like to cut a little slit in between these letters. Just a little slit there. That way it makes it easier for the decal to kind of come up and fold over onto the curved surface. Just a little cut right between some of the letters. Just my experience there. Maybe you don't cut it, and you notice when you go to lay it down that the letters don't fall very nicely together uniformly. And then maybe you'll come to that same conclusion. So I got a couple cars here while I'm working Kyle's requests. I'll show you here in just a minute my status on where I'm at with Kyle's work. Okay, looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So in progress is this Dollar General. This was a car that a truck he won 2013 in. I gotta paint the spoiler black, but it's got this roof decal. It's a black roof decal on. Probably could have pre-painted a little bit in there, but it doesn't look too bad. So gonna work this maybe later today. Got these sides cut out. On these trucks I've noticed it's a pain working this back. I'll show you here. So I decaled this the other day and not too bad. You can see I got a loose decal there. You have to wet that. See how that's kind of popped out there. Just gotta wet it, let it soak in, but the front's not too bad. It wraps around pretty well. But when you get to the back and the sides, you know, trying to get these to line up, I've been putting this left side on first with the fuel door, the tail light. I usually have to trim it to get it to fit. Then you have this little area here that sticks out. And inevitably the decal's a little big, which is, again, better than being short, but and then you have the curved bumper here where the bumper sticks out, and you got a decal on this case, right, that kind of comes up the bumper and back in and up. So micro sole is your friend there. And then I've been trimming these tail lights on these trucks because the tail lights come large. I'll trim that on that left side there to make sure it kind of lines up with the other one here. But lay this in place, get this in, come around here, and then get this in place there. But yeah, it's coming along. Like I said, I got that wet. Now I need it to just lay flat and not touch it. So yeah, you want to make sure before you go to put sealer on it that the decals are all nice and flat and in place. It's a pain. The pain gets greater to change things the more coats of sealer you put on. So make sure it's good to go before you seal. So yeah, this is a fantasy scheme. Sweet Heat Skittles. And then here was the sour Skittles. And got a coat of sealer on this guy. Again, not too bad. Trimming these tail lights. Trying to get this to lay flat and curve. Yeah. Side skirt's black, and so I touched up black underneath there. So gonna have black lower valence here. Another fantasy scheme. So after I get this one done, Kyle, I just have these two to do for you from a decal perspective. And yeah, and then once those are all decaled, get all those sealed up nice and glossy and packaged up in those boxes and out the door to you. You know, it's been a while. So I've also been working, let me just kind of move over here. Tell you a little bit of my saga. So I'm working this 1971 Datsun 240Z, and painted it with the Rust-Oleum Hunter Green. I've got another one I'm going to do. I'm doing two of them as a request, and the other one's going to be painted with this British metallic, or British green metallic. So it'll be slightly different, a little darker, a little bit more metallic-y. So I got two of those to do, but the interior is where I've had some struggles. So the interior of the car comes black, and the customer wants kind of that peanut butter look. And so I tried looking at what I had from a spray perspective. I couldn't find anything. And I saw this at a Walmart. It's an acrylic craft paint called Apple Barrel. And it's this classic caramel. And it was only 97 cents and, you know, in the craft section of Walmart. And I gave that a try. Wasn't sure. And you can see that's the color right there. And then I was looking around at Hobby Lobby, and here's this flat brown. And I think this is my best match for a peanut butter appearance. So that's what I'm painting on here. Again, it's kind of hard to see. I just put one coat on yesterday, and I'm gonna have to obviously do another one. You can tell it's over a black surface. You know, it's hard to get it to look nice just with one coat. So we'll do another coat and see how it goes. I'm just using these little applicators to paint. Not ideal, but it's a little bit better than a brush. But yeah, getting the second coat on, I think it'll look a lot better. Yeah. So that's what's going on with that. Made this Sam Meyer Bus DX. And got a coat of sealer on it. We'll put a couple more coats of sealer on it and strap that to a M2 box and put that up for sale. So some people ask, hey Doug, you got a website, or you got, some place where you post, where you can buy cars from me? And right now I'm again still working through my backlog of requests. I've just got a few more to do, and then I'll take new requests. But I don't have a website. I don't really. I guess what I'm trying to say is when I make a car, I sell it. I just put it up on eBay, or more often than not, it's a car that's been requested by one of you or somebody else, and yeah, it just sells. I don't really keep a stock of cars. I thought maybe one day, it might be nice to make a bunch of cars and go to like a a fair or something. I don't know. Maybe like, go to a NASCAR race, and that'd be kind of cool, Have some customs out there and sell them right there on the outside the track. I don't even know if that's possible. But yeah, I don't really have any in stock. I make them, and when I'm done with them, I ship them out to the person who requested them, or I take some pictures and put them on eBay. That's kind of how it works. So yep, that's a Supra. That'd be a Supra. So yeah, these take a little bit more work, these monster cars, because they have that flat finish. So if you can tell, this is just a gloss black car. It's the best way I've learned how to make these. Is don't have to use flat black paint. When you're making cars, it's best to use a gloss paint, and if you don't have it, you paint with whatever you have, and then you gloss it up before you decal. So if you have a satin or a flat matte finish paint, you don't want to apply decals over a matte finish. Just doesn't turn out well. And then you seal it up, and I'll show this on my little shorts with this guy. But you seal it up, multiple coats of the clear sealer, and then once you're all done, I would say probably 3 coats, 2 minimum, but 3's good. Then you go after your matte finish, and you use a product like Tester's Dull Coat. That's my product of choice. I'm going to try this on this guy. I'm going to try this Vallejo matte varnish. See how that does. Hopefully I don't ruin it. But figure I'll try it on this one. This isn't a custom request. And if something goes sideways, I can always just put more coats of the clear sealer on it, and then use the Tester's Dull Coat. Again, not ideal, but that's my plan if something goes sideways. I did want to say one thing about Ty Gibbs. If you've noticed, his rookie year has kind of been kind of quiet, right? I mean, he had some controversial things last year. The way he drove, he was kind of aggressive and retaliating, having anger issues. But this year, I think he's maturing. He's been kind of quiet. He's just going about his job, and he hasn't won any races, of course, but he's doing pretty good. For a young guy that lost his dad at an early age. My heart goes out to him as an individual, and I think he's doing well. Of course, I'm not in the hauler and all that, but from what I can see, he seems to be doing pretty well. And pretty soon, He may be the face of Joe Gibbs Racing. Kyle Busch is gone. I think Truex and Hamlin are in contract years. So, yeah. That would be interesting. Okay. Looks pretty good. Get these in the water. Talladega today should be a good race. Looking forward to it. These super speedways, right? I mean, it's anybody's race. Anybody can win this race. So that's just weird. It's fun to watch, right? Hey, let me shout out to Mr. Radke once again. Check this out. Probably saw this sitting over there. So obviously Mr. Kyle had mentioned this as a crazy Kyle Busch fan. He had asked, I don't know, it was a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, easy, if he knew if Kyle Busch's 2008 win in the Nationwide Series at the time, down in Mexico, ran a race, and he drove this Doosan paint scheme. If decals were available, and they're not, you can buy the 124 scale from Lionel, but not the 164. So Mr. Radke to the rescue, put this design together and sent me, well, I say sent me, I bought the design in 6 sheets. And if you would like a sheet, I'll probably part with maybe one of them. But black, no black background, so you paint the car black, and then you apply these decals over it. I mean, easy peasy. I'm sure, there's a lot of little pieces but I'm sure it's not that easy, but you've got the design and the decals now. You can make it. So awesome. And look what he did, right? So you have a practice version, I think, has the orange on the lower valence, and the actual version that drove on the track, I think, was the black with the silver dots or clips or whatever you want to call it. So he's put both in there, so you can do either version. I mean, just outstanding. I love the attention to detail that he has, and he does a great job. He does the designs, he gets them printed and sends them to you. Just terrific. So yeah, looking forward to making a few of these. And yeah, Kyle, I'm sure I'll make one for you as well. But if you need a design made, you don't have to ask me. You can go straight to Mr. Radke Racing Replicas, I believe. I think he's got a Facebook page, and yeah, check him out. Check him out. He doesn't do it for free, but he does a great job, and well worth the price that you pay for his work, and the decals too. So just terrific. So what do I got going, right? Let me see I'll show you what's coming. So I've got these for you, Mr. Nick. Got your message. I'm going to make these two for you, given the donors that you sent. And I opened one up here just to see what I could see on that front. And I'm going to make this Austin Cindric Freightliner finally going to get to one of these Travis Quapple's Fellowship of Christian Athletes. Been waiting to do that for many moons. And then I've got a few Chase Briscoes to do. Like we talked about, ones for Jumpin' Jim and Tristan. I got one for you. And then I have this over here to put together. Another one I think that might be interesting. It's a one-off hot pink Charlotte car from Jeremy Clements. All South electric. You don't see too many of his. And I think it's a playoff car. It's got this, I don't know if it's blue or purple or what it is, but got the purple spoiler and lower valence, so that'll be a challenge, no doubt. But yeah, just a few of those. And then, let's see, what else do I have after that grouping? I've got some over here that I plan on getting after. You saw me order some of these decals. Gonna make one of those. And then Bob, this is the free one that you want. I'm gonna make that. Nick, there's your free one. And still waiting to hear from 22 Lightning 04 or 4. And then I'll make this Passion of the Christ. Then we'll go from there. Like I said, I haven't opened up. Oh yeah, Michael got this one to make for you. But yeah, I've got a few that I want to make, and then I'll be shortly thereafter opening up for custom requests. So yeah, that's what's going on. Let's close with a verse. Just coming past Easter. And this is an appropriate verse. Jesus our ransom, Mark 10:45. Mark is a relatively short book, the shortest of all the Gospels, but just jam-packed. Great read. You could probably read through that book on a weekend. I think 16 chapters. That might be a nice little task, but Mark 10:45, Jesus is our ransom. For even the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. So Jesus came to fulfill the calling of God in his life. Everything he did was to please the Father, and that meant he was not going to sit around and be served like a king, but he was going to himself serve. If you remember, fed the 5,000, he healed the sick, he traveled around, raised the dead, calmed the stormy seas, preached the good news to the people about the coming kingdom of God, and washed his disciples' feet. He showed them how to love one another. But the greatest thing that he did was he gave his life as a ransom for many. That was the price to redeem us from God's wrath. And he did that for us. And all we have to do is recognize him, receive him as our Savior, and ask him to be our Savior. So, wonderful reminder that Jesus is our ransom. God bless you guys. Thanks for subscribing and watching. Take care. We'll talk to you later.